shy and fearful cats. And there's one of those shy and fearful cats on the cover. And it's hard to see in this picture, but she is indeed wearing a witch hat. Mrs. Hazeltine is a very witchy figure indeed. And the book is by Alicia Potter, and it's illustrated by Brigida Sif. On the back, it just says, "What's a shy cat to do? Visit Miss Hazeltine, of course." And then there's an illustration of Miss Hazeltine in her little bed. And the pattern is all just a bunch of little cats everywhere. Quite a few of them, actually. Bouncing and jumping and leaping and crawling with this circular vignette kind of little image in the center. Now, if you love reading witchy children's stories with me, please send me more recommendations. I'd be happy to read any and all that you like. I've ordered a copy of Little Witch Hazel, so I will read that one at some point in the future. And there is a slipcover on this book, which we can remove for easier reading. And like most children's books, there's the exact same image on the inside. So let's open it up. And so the inside cover is the same. Just a bunch of tiny little images of cats in various action poses. I like this one. It's kind of stretching with a long tail, and this one that's just sitting. There's this one down here, and this one over here. Really long tails on these cats. Okay, so let's start with the first page. And it just says, Miss Hazeltine's home for shy and fearful cats. And right here, there's one of those shy and fearful cats. Looks to be kind of like a calico of some sort. And the publisher information, and then the author's name. And look at these little kitty cats here. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 little cats. And it looks like this is a dedication. And it says, "To my feral foster kittens who inspired this story, and to Yodel who stayed. And then to Soli, and Sulka. I'll bet you these are like illustrations of all of their cats at the bottom here. Super cute. Okay, let's turn the page. See what I mean though? Like, this is witchy looking. We have this house, which is more like two houses kind of stacked on top of one another. I'm honestly surprised there's no Baba Yaga legs or something on the bottom of this house. And it says, when Miss Hazeltine opened her home for shy and fearful cats, she didn't know if anyone would come. And then it says the name of the home here, Miss Hazeltine's home for shy and fearful cats. And there she is, right there, trying to entice an animal. And there's another one hiding here. But come, they did. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lovely witchy people coming to Miss Hazel's. And there's some shy and fearful cats there. Some in arms, some on the ground, ready to be tamed by Miss Hazeltine. This is a more minimal kind of page with lots of action going on here. So it says a bunch of different reasons for the cats to show up. So the first one is he runs from mice, and there's the mouse, and the cat, like, scared of the mouse. He's scared, or she's scared of birds, and there's the bird right on top. Super cute. Can't bounce. That's a pretty big deal, I would say. And what's this one? Won't purr. Oh, it looks so sad. This one is just worthless. Well, that's sad. My goodness. Hopeless. Afraid of everything. Strays who could read Miss Hazeltine's signs skittered in on their own. Then there was Crumb, the most timid of all. He dashed through the door. And there's Crumb. We've met Crumb before. He's like on the first little bit of the book. And I love this tower kind of Princess and the Pea style illustration. Really cute. Look at that luscious, like, cottagey style illustration. There is so much going on here, so much to see. I love that. So they all came, and they all hid. So we'll start on this side. Look at all these cats in the bookshelf hiding. And they're down here in drawers and things. On the couch, sitting on a little chair. another series of like action panels here. So Miss Hazeltine began her lessons at once. In the morning, she taught bird basics. So here they are, this audience. She's got this like sketchboard and she's sketching out how to, look for birds. In the afternoon, climbing up, followed by climbing down. Important, underrated. You gotta be able to get down if you climb up. At night, she taught scary noises. So, the bottom here. This is so cute. Little cat with headphones. One of my cats could use a scary noises lesson. He is very afraid of all scary noises. Many cats received extra help in meeting new friends. Miss Hazeltine showed the cats how to hold their tails high, to arch their backs, to think good thoughts. And here they are on yoga mats, doing cat stretches together. And every day they practice bouncing right on this big pile of cushions. And the hardest lesson, how not to fear the broom. And of course, as a witch, there's brooms around, so you gotta be taught how not to fear the broom. And look at her with her little broom. Absolutely love that. Here's the illustration we see on the back. Miss Hazeltine didn't mind if some cats only watched. She let them be. Like Crumb. That's Crumb. Look, there's Crumb right there. Very shy little Crumb. Miss Hazeltine told him that sometimes she got scared. I'm afraid of mushrooms and owls, she confided, and I've never liked the dark. And then there's Crumb afraid under the bed, and she praised Crumb's love of pitch black places. So Crumb loves to be in the dark, and she's afraid of the dark, so she's being encouraging. And then we have here some knitting. It looks like she's knitting. Crumb lapped up every word. One day he hoped to find the courage to thank her. Still he worried, would he ever be brave? And there he is, while she's knitting in that little basket of yarn. Look how long this scarf is. I wish that I was a better knitter and could knit a scarf that long, but I don't know. I haven't found the gusto to ever finish a scarf I've started knitting. And here's the darkness. Wow, I love in children's book illustrations when they illustrate what darkness looks like. For some reason, it's just so evocative. So it says, soon more cats came to Miss Hazeltine's home, and more and more. So many arrived that on a Monday at 5 o'clock, when everyone but Crumb was fast asleep, Miss Hazeltine ran out of milk. I'm off to fetch a bucketful, she told Crumb, and we'll be back before dark. Crumb watched her go. And so she tells Crumb to expect her before dark. And there's Crumb sitting there, and there's Miss Hazeltine. They've run out of milk. And all the cats are asleep on the stairs. You can see quite a few of them here. There's 1, 2, 3, there she is. She's going to fetch the milk. And she takes a little tumble. My goodness. But by the time Miss Hazeltine rounded the road back home, the sun had set. The heavy buckets sloshed and slowed her, and her ankles were wibbly, wobbly from all the bouncing. Miss Hazeltine tripped and fell into a ditch. Oh no, Miss Hazeltine. So she's walking, and then takes a little tumble here with the milk. What a disaster. And so now it's dark, and all of the owls are looking at her, and there's mushrooms, remember? She said that she was afraid of mushrooms. With her ankle sore and throbbing, Miss Hazeltine was stuck. She shivered in the dark, the pitch-black dark. Was that an owl hooting? She peered around. Mushrooms! Miss Hazeltine tried to think good thoughts. There she is. And there's even a little rabbit there. So now Miss Hazeltine has to apply her knowledge. And the poor cats are all by themselves, very worried. Look at them, they're looking out for her through the window. They've cracked open the door. And it says back home, the cats did the same. But they were alone and very, very afraid. What will they do without Miss Hazeltine? They didn't know where Miss Hazeltine had gone, so they're just sitting there, waiting and worried and wondering. Those poor cats. I mean, a witch without her familiars, without her cats is lost, and it's vice versa. Look at this, it's Crumb. Crumb is an amazing name for, like, the main character cat in a story. I love that. So what do we have here? But Crumb knew where Miss Hazeltine had gone. And there's Crumb knowing. And maybe, just maybe, what to do. There's Crumb considering what to do. Crumb stepped into the moonlight. He arched his back and held his tail high. So Crumb is like, I can do this. This is my chance to show Miss Hazeltine what I'm made of. And I love the progression of these illustrations. We have step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. I'm going from scared to more certain to even more certain. And so there they go, they venture out. He gathered the others around with nothing, are armed with nothing but the old broom, the residence of Miss Hazeltine's home for shy and fearful cats, streamed into the night. And there's this procession of cats going out into the night looking for Miss Hazeltine. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's a bird, is it not? Wait, no, those are cats. They look like owls, but they're not. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are the owls. They're up there. And so they go into the night looking for Miss Hazeltine. And there she is. She's in the ditch. And so it says, down in the ditch ditch, Miss Hazeltine groaned. "What will happen to the cats?" she whispered. And dear Crumb, so she's most concerned about what will happen to Crumb, because Crumb is so afraid of everything. But little does she know, Crumb is leading the procession. Yet something was happening. The cats felt it in their chests. With Crumb at the fore, they followed the sweet smell of milk down the road. So there they are, and there's this little fence, and they're all hopping down very bravely to try and find Miss Hazeltine. And they're using their senses to get there. But I love, what cute ways to draw cats with their little eyes fully illuminated and Crumb leading the way. And here we have again. Looks as though they are coming to the rescue. Right to Miss Hazeltine. At Crumb's meow, the cat stared down the mushrooms. They purred to drown out the owl's hoots. This is so cute. Look at them staring down the mushrooms. I love that. They purred to drown out the owl's hoots, and they pounced. Of course they pounced. They pounced to be sure nothing lurked in the dark. Then they formed a chain of cats to rescue Miss Hazeltine from the ditch. I would lose my mind with happiness if a chain of cats came to rescue me from a ditch. That's all I want in this world. Miss Hazeltine was escorted back to the home for Shy, and pretty brave if you ask us cats, as the strays amended the sign. So they had to rescue her, and so they became really brave cats. And then here they all are together, all of them hanging out, looking at her. Such pretty artwork. It says, "You're as bold as lions," Miss Hazeltine told her rescuers. "And whether you stay forever or head out into the world, I will never forget your courage." The cats were so happy that they didn't even miss their milk, especially Crumb. Look at her. And Crumb, Crumb is right here under the table. And there's that last illustration. So cute. And it says, "Who had found a new favorite spot." And so Crumb settles in right on the chest of Miss Hazeltine, the bravest cat of them all. And so that is Miss Hazeltine's home for Shy and Fearful Cats. It's a short book. It's not terribly long, but it has some beautiful, very luscious illustrations. One of my particular favorites is this nighttime one. It's so pretty, but I hope you enjoyed hearing the story. I hope that it made you incredibly sleepy. And again, if you have any other suggestions for witch-themed children's books that you would like me to read, I would be more than happy to take any of your suggestions and read them in the future, because it's kind of fun to read things like this in a witchy theme. So I hope you have a very restful and peaceful sleep, and I'll I'll see you again very soon.